Hey, welcome back for another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Good to see you again. I'm Katie Alves.
Hey there, I'm Ruiz.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ethan Michael.
Hello again, I'm Elmira Darmanian, and we're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
Christiano Ronaldo has taken the spotlight once again for his disrespectful attitude toward his Manchester United team. In a recent interview with broadcaster Piers Morgan, Ronaldo made it clear that he doesn't respect manager Erik ten Hag, and then went on to criticize both his club and his former team interim boss, Ralf Rangnick. This came only hours after the team had made a point of demonstrating their team spirit and togetherness with an impressive win to Fulham. On top of that, it's only been a few weeks since Ronaldo's suspension for refusing to play as a substitute against Tottenham. The frequency of Ronaldo's blatant indiscretions have the United team particularly angry, but they have remained on focus to prepare for the second half of the season. The club plans to consider its response once the full facts have been established.
In other soccer news, Qatar has been accused of paying hundreds of fake supporters to parade for cameras ahead of the World Cup. Footage recently emerged of fans filling the streets of the Qatar capital, Doha, many bearing flags, banners, and painted faces. The behavior of the crowd was seemingly curated and staged, raising the questions regarding the legitimacy of the crowd. Some people were curious as to why fans had arrived in their masses more than a week ahead of the start of the World Cup, and also pointed out that there were no female supporters at all present. This wouldn't be the first time Qatar has been accused of employing migrant workers to pretend to be sports fans in an effort to make largely empty arenas appear full. Upon further investigations, numerous workers they regularly make up numbers at events for the money and not for the sport.
Turning the page to the NFL, we take a look at a tough division in the NFC East. Fans across the globe were stunned when the Philadelphia Eagles lost to Washington Commanders during a Monday Night Football game matchup. This game was a topsy-turvy one that left speculators scratching their heads. Washington Commanders quarterback Taylor Heineke helped the team battle through a tough game as everyone underestimated him. Their run game was on point, and the defense left the Eagles with no answers. The now 8-1 Eagles also had 4 turnovers in the game, which didn't contribute to their performance. Washington is getting some respect now for how they played against the big dogs.
Even though the Commanders sit at the bottom of the NFC East with a 5-5 record, there's still a strong possibility that all 4 teams in the NFC East can make the playoffs, given how the ups and downs of the league have been going so far.
With the Eagles streak ending, football fans will have to wait yet another season for a team to have that perfect record. The only team to have ever achieved it was the 1972 Miami Dolphins, a record that still holds true 50 years later.
Moving on, the Minnesota Vikings come back from a 17-point deficit against the Buffalo Bills in Sunday's game. The 33-30 overtime win was arguably the game of the year, with a great catch from Justin Jefferson. Now the Vikings move on to 8-1. They are regarded as arguably one of the top 3 teams in the league.
The Vikings' Justin Jefferson received the ball from the Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, defying many odds as they were in the 4th down, their own 27-yard line, and they had less than 2 minutes. The catch wasn't only momentous for the team for turning the game around, but Jefferson received a 32-yard catch in the same style as Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch when he was with the Giants. With this catch, Jefferson has now completed over 1,000 yards this season. He has 10 receptions and a total of 4 receiving touchdowns.
Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw have come to an agreement with him signing on to pitch next season. It is the second time the 2 parties have done a 1-year deal. This coming in at a reported $20 million. Drafted out of high school with the 7th overall pick in the first round of the 2008 amateur draft.
At the time, he was also being courted by the University of Texas A&M, but a $2.3 million signing bonus for signing up with the Boys in Blue was enough to win him over. The 34-year-old veteran has not suited up for any other team in his professional career. The World Series winner is staying in the City of Angels, and that's a great start to the offseason. Who's next?
Well, moving on to the awards, Buck Showalter, manager of the New York Mets, was named this year's National League Manager of the Year. He is the first manager to win this award from 4 different teams during his career.
He's also the first Mets manager to win this award and beat out a close top finisher, Los Angeles Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, who helped guide his team to 111 victories. Showalter helped his team make it to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. The Mets made it as far as the wild card round but lost to the San Diego Padres. Although many fans expected the Mets to go farther this past season, it looks like the Mets are looking to bounce back next season.
When he received his award, he stated, quote, "The game has changed a lot, but in a lot of ways, it has stayed the same," end quote. The Mets have won an impressive 100 games under Showalter. The Mets' most wins in a season came in 1986 when the Mets won 108 games and went on to win the World Series.
The college football playoff is back, and yesterday the new rankings were revealed, with Georgia still remaining as the top dog in college football, with Ohio State at number 2, Michigan at number 3, and TCU at number 4. As the college football season is coming to an end, these last 2 weeks, including the conference championship games, will determine in the end who gets to go into the Final Four for the college football playoffs. Some big key matchups are coming up in the next few weeks. It will be number 7 USC versus number 16 UCLA, number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Michigan, and the SEC championship game that is already set to take place in Atlanta with number 1 Georgia versus number 6 LSU.
A win for Georgia easily clinches them as the number 1 team in the country, even by the time they finish the season. But arguably, the number 1 game, and probably biggest game of the year, is going to come down to number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Michigan, in a Week 12 matchup that, once again, a year later is going to determine the marbles and which teams of those two will be able to continue on to the playoffs in the top 4.
And of course, the crosstown rivalry that we didn't expect to be as hyped as it is right now between UCLA and USC. Although USC came into the season already as one of the top 10 teams in the country, UCLA was not as expected to be as successful as they have been this year.
The big game on Saturday is officially sold out at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And for USC, it's simple. Win, and your hopes of possibly still making the playoffs are definitely still much alive.
As for UCLA, their playoff chances were crushed this past weekend with a home loss to Arizona, causing them to fall all the way down to 16. But a win against the Trojans will certainly show for a good ball game after the season and bragging rights for a whole year.
In CSUF men's basketball news, a 65-65 game by the end of regulation went to overtime. After the visiting team got a layup last second, the Titans shot 50% from the three-point line and had more to prove in the paint. The Titans altogether had 45 rebounds and were squared away defensively. Second chance points were mixed, and the visiting team, the Vermont Catamounts, battled against the Titans with heart, but came up short at the end of the second overtime.
After the first overtime, the players were exhausted and weren't ready to give up. The game went on and the Titans secured the dub. Fullerton's head coach, Didrik Taylor, stated, quote, "I'm very proud of our guys and the way they've handled the adversity tonight. This was a great opportunity for our ball club to win playing a different style of basketball. I thought we did a good job of getting them the free throw line, and we found a way to win by getting everybody involved," end quote.
Basketball fans can now watch their teams and follow all the Titan action on ESPN+.
All right, stay tuned for a roundtable discussion coming right up after the break.
I have a question about
Hey everyone, welcome back. So I know we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things I really want to talk about first is Manchester United and Ronaldo. Elmira, what did you think about Ronaldo's situation with Man United?
I was lucky enough to watch the whole interview, and honestly, he has his reasons to not trust the management, because we all remember the situation where he sadly lost his son, and then his daughter and his wife were in the hospital. So the management of the club, they didn't believe him. So that's why he has all the right to not trust them, because Ronaldo is kind of a person who will prioritize his family first. Even though I don't really like him, but I'm gonna give him to that. Like it's fair enough. What do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, it's sad to see Ronaldo, that type of player, and be able to be a bench and not be able to see him on the field a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys are up with some of the trending news on the internet, but there's a guy, he's 17, Speed. I don't know if you guys watch him. No? Oh my God. You guys need to watch him. He's funny. People will know. Speed, he's basically this #1 big fan of Ronaldo, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He's from from here, from the States. And he went to England to go watch Ronaldo, but then when he goes over there, they tell him he's not even gonna play today. So it just sucks, you know.
That's sad.
But it's funny. But yeah, I know. Let's go into football, where I know it's Ethan's guy, Justin Jefferson. What do you think about the catch?
All of a sudden,
I mean, the whole game, right? Game of the year. We had Stephon Diggs and then Justin Jefferson, two guys who I'd have at the top of who I want on my team to catch the ball, especially late in the game. They're both clutch. I think this was a statement game, though. I think Justin Jefferson took the belt. He's the best receiver in the league right now. He we could debate if you want.
Sure. Okay.
But hear me out. Justin Jefferson, he's not playing with an elite quarterback. He's not playing with say Aaron Rodgers or anybody like that. Kirk Cousins, he's decent, but he's not elite. What he made is he made the whole team come back. I feel like with the catches he was making, those acrobatic catches. I think that he brought the energy up. There were so many times in the game where the Vikings could have just lost. And when he made all those spectacular plays, it got everybody else amped up. And then with Justin Jefferson, though, you know, he's deadly in the short pass, he's deadly mid pass, and then deep as well. So, you know, and he's crafty, and he's even keel. So I think he you know, you have Tyreek, you have Kupp hurt, you have Jamar Chase, who's hurt as well. Devontae Adams is a Raider now, so he's in that. But yeah, so Justin Jefferson, I think, took the belt. He's the best receiver.
He's definitely proven. I remember watching him week 1, and I didn't even know who he was, and then I was watching it, and I was like, oh, he's going to be doing something. But I don't know. I think the Bills always put themselves in this they start doing so good, and then every year by the playoffs, or they'll never make it to the Super Bowl. They're cursed. But I would like to see them win, because they have everything they need to be a great team, but they just keep losing somehow.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Kitty, because I too think the same. This is the second time we've seen the Bills in this predicament where they have 99.99% chance of winning the game.
That's what I'm saying.
And they lose again. The last time we saw that was against the Chiefs last year with 13 seconds left, and you can't tell me your defense can't stop. So I think, but going back to Ethan's point, Justin Jefferson for sure I think he's one of the top receivers for sure. I still have some guys ahead of him, but he's an elite player. Him and Jamar Chase. And it's just that game was so good. I really was. I think the game. Game of the year, and it was so exciting to watch. I was happy to see the Vikings win, and we'll kind of see where it plays out and where the Bills end up as going from #1 seed now seem like they're trickling down.
Well, right now they're not even in first, right?
No, the Chiefs just took the #1 seed.
No, but in the division for the Bills.
Oh yeah, the division they're 3.
Uh-huh.
They got the Jets and who's the other team?
Dolphins.
The Dolphins, yes, the Dolphins. That's right.
Yeah, but going off what you said with the Bills, I mean, they're just honestly, I feel like they're kind of unlucky because you face the Chiefs and the prime Chiefs you got Mahomes in there, so that's a whole different weapon. And then right now you got Justin Jefferson. And I like what Ethan mentioned about making him catch. Literally motivated the whole team
because
the cornerback had 2 hands on it.
Yeah, I thought it was an interception when I saw it. I was like, oh man, it's a big game over, but he just snagged it back down.
I think I was watching the game live, and I think even the camera guy was confused on who to focus. You know,
sure.
Am I focusing on Justin Jefferson or the cornerback?
Yeah. And you know, in sports, we do this thing now where we individualize players. That's how the game's marketed. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the throws were underthrown. I feel like I said, Kirk Cousins is not an elite quarterback, and he had 190 yards.
He ain't bad though.
He's not bad. He's not bad, but he's not elite.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
He's not like Josh Allen. That's why I think he's when a receiver can just take the game over, and it's so much reliant on how good the quarterback is, and when they can take the game over, that's a game changer right there. That's why I think he took the belt.
And let's not forget about Patrick Peterson. He ended the game. He had 2 picks, so future Hall of Famer, did a good job, I think. Who? Patrick Peterson?
I don't know your title.
You don't know who Patrick Peterson is?
No, I don't.
All right, moving on.
I guess not. I always move on. College football. I know you're a big fan of college football, Zay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the rankings right now? Having Georgia as number 1.
I think for finally the rankings are set the way they should be. All 4 teams are all undefeated. Georgia is clearly number 1. That's and that's I'm not going to argue against that. Ohio State and Michigan. I think it's going to be an amazing game to watch. Granted, I mean, hopefully they still got one more game before they play each other, but they should win. And TCU at number 4, I like that they beat Texas. The rest of the rankings, though, as far as the top 10, I think it's still very heavily SEC favored. And we all know, college football fans, the SEC guys who put the rankings together are very biased towards the SEC. I don't think Tennessee should be that high. I don't think Alabama should be on the top 10. I think USC's in a good spot, but I think it should be maybe like 1 spot higher. As far as the rest of the pack, like UCLA and Oregon, I think when they lost, they ruined it for the Pac-12 to really make a good name for themselves, and that's, so UC's the only hope they got. But as far as the top 4, I'm excited. I think it looks pretty interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think the USC-UCLA game is going to be very, very fun to watch, and I think as far like I said, just going back to the top 4 because that's what everybody looks for. My personal opinion, I think if I'm making an early projection, I think Georgia's still going to win it all, but we'll see. That Michigan Ohio State game though is going to be really good too. I think Michigan might actually
speaking
win.
of that UCLA game and USC, who you got, Katie, for that prediction?
USC.
USC?
Yeah, but I don't know. UCLA might pull something off.
They're still good. They're they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be for sure.
Definitely better than them. But I mean, I went to their games last year and they weren't amazing. So, but maybe. Maybe they'll do something
this year they're different, man. They got Caleb Williams. They have a bunch of good receivers.
Yeah.
Also, the defense has won plenty of games, so it's gonna be an interesting game to watch because you never know. Always when they play USC, UCLA, it doesn't matter the record throughout the season.
It really doesn't.
It's gonna be a good
literally
game
in that
either
game.
way.
There's been plenty of seasons where I've been watching the game and USC's trash, and then UCLA's winning, and then USC wins the game, or vice versa.
Or vice versa, except for
thing.
those Reggie Bushers. But even if USC does win, they still got to beat Notre Dame the week after, and they got to play either Utah or who else.
Yeah, for the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, so it's it's still a very uphill battle.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
but I know that's why I feel like they made the move to, I think, where are they moving? Big 12?
The Big 10.
Oh, Big 10? So yeah, I think that's why they're moving for not only just more competitive schedule, but also for them to show them hey, we're a good team. We can be in that college playoff.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say. What else do you guys have things to say?
What about basketball? You guys been watching basketball?
100%. 100%. I started tearing up the other day. I saw a very nostalgic performance by Anthony Davis putting up 37 and 18. I was like, oh.
It's 2019 season, huh?
Yeah, the 2019 season, man. I hope if he could stay playing like that, we'll be okay. And I'm so happy that Russell Westbrook is playing well off the bench because we actually have one of the best benches now in the league as of right now, number 1 and 2 in scoring and something else. And it's nice to see him enjoy the game. And once LeBron comes back, whenever he does, hopefully they play better. But not surprisingly, but man, the Brooklyn Nets, that's just a whole tire fire.
Desmond Bain, the All-Star this year? Grizzlies?
Yeah.
24 a game, 25 a game?
I mean, it's 24. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I've always been kind of a little skeptical about the Grizzlies because I feel like people give them a little too much credit right now for not having done much. But I mean, yeah, for sure.
A lot of potential though.
They're good. They're up and coming for sure.
Ja Morant is he's the definition of Showtime.
But if he keeps doing playing the way he's playing, he's gonna end up like Russ. Because if he develops a better shot,
he's a better shooter than Russ. He's a better shooter.
Well, for sure, yeah, for sure, 100%.
Well, I'm excited to see the Grizzlies and the Lakers, especially Grizzlies, because since growing up, they've always been not a good team, and now they have a stacked team. So I'm really excited to see what they do, especially in the playoff season.
And Luka's going off too.
Yeah, Luka's
every year, man. Luka's a beast, man. All right, Titans, that is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Katie Alves.
Thank you guys for joining. I'm your boy Isaiah.
Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm Ethan Michael.
Hope to see you next time. I'm Elmira Darmanian. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you already haven't at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports.